today already know me. I work at Illuminations Wellbeing Center, JLT, as a holistic therapist. And my specialities are, I'm a transpersonal psychologist. I am a transpersonal regression therapist, also hypnotherapist. I am a CBT practitioner, NLP master practitioner. I'm a trauma therapist. I have understanding of how to release trauma from the body through body work, which could be a combination of all the things that I have learned over the period of time. I'm a teacher of meditation. I also use dream therapy. I'm a teacher of dream interpretation, which I use during my therapies. So over the period of time, I have been, like you can say, a constant student, trying to accumulate knowledge from everywhere, accumulating tools. I say usually to my clients, this is my hobby, to accumulate tools in my toolbox, so I can be more productive and professionally help the people for whom I'm there to help. So that's what I do in my professional life. I am a mother of a grown-up adult boy in my personal life, and I have been living in Dubai for some time now, and it has been a pleasure to help people, be their guide, and walk with them through their journey of life. It's been a really, really life-changing experience for me, because as I help each of my clients, I'm also growing every day with them. As you're growing, I'm growing with you. So thanks to all of you from the bottom of my heart. I'm going to talk about relationships today. That's the topic of the webinar. How you can be more compatible in a relationship by knowing yourself. Unless we know ourselves, it is practically impossible to know someone else. So in the middle, I would be asking if you have any questions to clarify regarding any of your experiences. Please unmute yourself then, and you can talk to me, or you can write on the chat so that I can reply to your queries. And this is going to be an interactive process, so feel free to interact with me and talk to me. Any of you, everything is okay? Like so far, can I get a thumbs up or something? Like you guys are all in the same page with me? Cool, thank you so much. So as I was saying, the relationship, that I would also ask you to keep a paper and a pen in front of you, so that when there's going to be certain questions which I'm going to ask you, you can write down your answers, which will help you to get more clarifications about yourself. So a relationship, in the truest sense of the word, means relating to another. Usually when we say that we relate to someone, it is because we have found a common ground. But part of relating is finding ways to make sense of ideas that we have within ourselves. Ideas which could be different, but trying to come together with difference of ideas. So often when we choose relationships, we try to fit another person into our predetermined ideal. I'm sure most of us do that. I did that too, and I'm guilty of the same. So when they don't fit perfectly, we may try to make them, try to make over them, creating our own vision from the raw material that they have brought. But unless someone asks for guidance and directions, entering into a relationship with someone we want to change wouldn't be appropriate. Then the conflict starts, because the ideal that you or I might be having in our mind, we want to fit the person that we have in front of us into that mold, and it can never happen. What happens instead is we get to see the worst of us in such a relationship. And we have a lot of pain and we suffer until we can't bear anymore. And then we choose to quit and move on to another one. This could be a choice. This could help for some time. But eventually, you will notice that there is going to be a pattern that you will notice in many of your relationships, which says something very deep and profound about yourself. And unless you get that message, unless you get that straight, it will not be able to give you any answers why you're going through this every time. You will be stuck feeling loggerhead with your partner, trying to change him or trying to change her according to your suitability so that you can feel better about yourself. But ultimately, that never happens because we can never change someone else. What we can do is only change ourselves. And what are we going to change if we don't understand ourselves? If we don't know who we are, we can never change ourselves. So relationship, any relationship, and especially the intimate romantic kinds of relationships, gives us the opportunity to know ourselves. And the relationship becomes the one that we had imagined it to be finally, if we can resolve those issues in ourselves which our partner is mirroring back. So anytime our partners step outside of the imaginary projection, we wouldn't feel disappointed anymore. An honest relationship is one in which we accept each other as whole individuals and find a way to share our life's experiences. Then whenever we want, we can choose to be as a couple, to give the relationship the makeover it wants as a couple, not as individual trying to change each other. By wanting to give another person a makeover, we are basically saying that we don't accept them for who they are. And how bad it will feel if you are that person who are made to feel that your partner doesn't accept you for who you are. The partner wants to change you or to modify you or to upgrade you to something that suits his or her needs. If we take a moment to imagine the roles reversed, you will see how intense that feeling is. We can get a sense of how would it feel if our beloved only committed to us because they thought we were or we would become someone else entirely. In such an environment, we are not relating to each other from a real place. We are keeping ourselves from being able to learn and grow from the different viewpoints of that our partners are offering. So if we feel that a change is needed in our relationship, the only makeover we truly have the power to make is on ourselves. By accepting our partners for exactly who they are, the ideal and the not so ideal, we will create an energetic shift in the relationships. We may find ourselves really appreciating our partners for the first time. Working from within, we determine how we relate to the people and the world around us. And then we can accept it and embrace it all. Without conditions, we make every act relating a positive one. So I'm sure most of us have gone through heartbreaks, and it happens to all of us, and we cannot wash over it very easily. When experiencing a broken heart, our ethereal selves are saturated with grief, and the overflow is channeled into the physical body. We feel this sense of physical emptiness, and the longing is transmuted into a feeling that often cannot be put into words. Mending of broken heart can seem a task so monumental that we dare not attempt for the fear of damaging ourselves further. But heartbreak, like all emotions, falls under the spell of our conscious influence. Often the pain that wounds create in us also leaves the most enduring mark upon us. The shock that becomes the tender throbbing ache of the heart eventually leads us down the path of enlightenment, blessing our lives with a new depth and richness. And I have worked with so many clients who have gone through those dark, deep, painful moments of heartbreaks. And while probably if they had the courage and the patience to work on themselves, those cracks in their hearts let the light come inside and made way for enlightenment. It came as a blessing. Certain times you will see on a hindsight when you look back that it was a blessing, that something which felt like a heartbreak then was essential for your own growth. So acknowledging the heartbreak's impermanence by no means dulls its stings, or it is the sting itself that stimulates the healing. The pain is letting us know that we need to pay attention to our emotional selves, to sit with our feelings and be in them fully before we can begin to heal. Most of the time what I see in my experience that people don't want to feel. People want to distract themselves, either rushing into another relationship or distracting with something else, maybe travel, maybe work, maybe whatever it is. It is just the way that we have learned, our society has taught us to survive, to cope with pain, to cope with feelings, to cope with emotions by distraction. And if you don't allow yourself to sit and feel it all, the enlightenment that comes with it will not happen. You will remain stuck in that pain. And even after 10 years, 15 years, if you go and think back, or if you look into the memory, you will still have that ache in your heart and that feeling of, not having a closure, not having a resolution from it. So the first understanding about emotions, about pain, about suffering is that there is growth from that. When you're feeling the pain, your emotions are trying to tell you something. Listen through your feelings and then grow from that. Take that opportunity to grow. Time may dull the pain or a broken heart, but it is fully feeling your pain and acknowledging it that will truly help you. Dealing with your heartache in a healthy way rather than putting it off for tomorrow is the key to repair. Gentleness, more than anything else, is called for. Most important is to open yourself to the possibility of loving, trusting, and believing again. When someday, soon, you emerge from the cushion of your grief, you will see that the universe did not cease to be as you nursed your broken heart. You emerge on the other side of the mending a stronger and fully experienced person. You must be really strong, really courageous, really grounded, and really steady to stand naked, bare, not only physically, I'm not talking about your emotions, your heart, as your most vulnerable self before another human being. And if you are trying to always be protective and defensive of yourself in a relationship, then you are not presenting your true self to your partner. You must be really strong enough to be opened by that person, to see the powerful parts of yourself and also the weakest ones. So don't be afraid if you're seeing your weakest parts through your partner. You must be courageous enough to stand in your power, yet be willing to compromise. You must be grounded in a sense of who you are and be willing to give the person the opportunity to do the same. You had better be ready to see and learn from things about yourself that you may not have realized, may have forgotten, may have denied, or would rather not know. When you join in union with another person, whatever kind of union it is the union of the soul. So wherever the soul is involved, the truth will be revealed. And the good thing about personal and intimate relationship is that you have an opportunity to be born again. And as you learn to acknowledge the areas in which you are underdeveloped or undeveloped, the false you falls away and the true authentic you is born. The people with whom you have relationships encourage and support you in this process by constantly making you aware how you are growing and where you need to grow. If you feel like they're nagging you, criticizing you, or picking on you, the truth is that they are unconsciously, not consciously, they are not doing it purposely, but they are unconsciously helping you to heal. They are helping you grow into your truth and your power. And don't forget, you are doing exactly the same for them. Until today, you may have been afraid to reveal your weaknesses, fears, or shortcomings. But just for today, make a commitment to yourself to tell the truth about what you feel to the people who you love and care about. Allow them the privilege and opportunity to help you heal and grow. We usually have stopped feeling. So once we have stopped feeling, we don't know how to speak the language of feelings and emotions. We point out the shortcomings in the other person, but we stop telling them that why you're pointing it out. What would it make you feel otherwise? So the more you connect with your own true self, your own true feeling, the more you will be learning how to communicate the language of feelings. And I can assure you, once you learn the communication through the language of feelings, relationships become very easy to handle. You're not now only looking at the shortcomings that the person through his actions and behaviors is not fulfilling. You're understanding why it is, what is it feeling, what is it making you feel inside of you? Why are you reacting in this certain way? Why is this internal response that is created inside you from that other person's action or behavior? Why does it trigger something in you, and what is it that something that is being triggered? So all of this you can only understand if you truly allow yourself to be open to that person, to be open to yourself, and connect with your emotions, with your feelings. So I have spoken for 20 long minutes. Is there any questions in the chat? If you want to put, you can. If you want to talk. Is it Bushra, you want to talk or you want to write? Would you like to talk, Bushra? Okay, I'll unmute you. Yes,
Hi,
Bushra.
Hi, Sarnista. I hope that
Yes,
you are
Bushra.
doing well. I want to
I'm here,
ask you
yeah.
I want to ask you just two questions. The first question is like, how can you be with someone without expectations? Because for me, like you cannot have any feelings or emotion to someone if you are not expecting anything from this person, and when it comes to playing a role in your life. This is the first question. And for the second one, is like when your partner tells you, I need time to trust and open up, especially when it comes to a beginning of a relationship. And you are already like a transparent, open person and already trusting this person. And it's really frustrating, but does that mean that your partner is reflecting who you are, or it's just like it's a time or
Okay, so again, as I was saying, you are like most of us, we do. We just hear the words and see the behavior. But what is it that he is making you feel when he's saying that he needs time to trust you? What is he making you feel? Can you connect to that?
No, I cannot understand it because
No,
I
what is
already,
it making you feel inside of you? Because it's not a pleasant feeling, definitely. You're not feeling happy about it.
yeah, I feel so frustrated and I feel like
Yes,
it's not equal.
exactly. So it feels that you are not equal to him,
Yes,
right? And that's why it's frustrating.
yeah,
Yeah. So here you are being made to feel that you are lesser, is it?
exactly.
Right. So this is something that is being reflected back. This is your issue, Bushra, which you have to work on. Somehow inside of you, still you feel you are less. You're always subconsciously, even though not consciously, comparing yourself with others and feeling that you're lesser than them. And this person who you have attracted in your life, I would say fortunately, is giving you the opportunity to heal your wounds from the past. There was the first question. What was it about? I just lost it. The first question
Um,
was about,
like I
like,
know,
expectations, you said, right?
yes, how can you like be with someone without having any expectations from this person? Because for me, like having feelings for someone or those emotions and things are related to expectations about this person, like about his role in your life.
Definitely. Again, the expectations that we make in our mind is based on either behavioral expectations, physical expectations, or material expectations. So, if you could again connect with your feeling about the expectations, feeling wise, what do I expect from my partner? What do I expect him to make me feel? I would like, I'm just giving you an example. It could be I expect my partner to make me feel that I am the most important person in his life, right?
Yes.
If that is the expectation, that can be fulfilled. But if the expectation is he should do this, this, and in a list there are 10 things that he should do, and you are trying to manipulate or you are trying to, make him behave in the way where he reflects that, then that's not going to work. So it's going to, you have to be very clear. The expectation has to be emotional expectation. So if you think that in my relationship, I want to be respected by my partner, I want to be made to feel that I'm special. Okay, so be very specific about your expectations from the relationship, and it is through that you can work. But if you have an expectation, I hope I'm making sense, right? If the expectations is
Yes.
only related to physical things, physical needs, then it might not get fulfilled.
Okay. Thank you, Sir Mister.
You're welcome. Anyone else? Any questions? Yes, Hala, do you want to speak or you want to write? Okay, just hold on. Yes.
Hello, Sarmista.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening. So my question is related to the fact that, like, for example, they say that we can manifest the relationships we want in our life and manifest the type of partners we want. But like in most of the cases, like we end up with people that we don't like. If I were to manifest the soulmate, it wouldn't be that person. Like with the unavailability that's happening, with the like most of the people I end up talking to are not do not end up giving me what I really want in a relationship, need wise or values wise. And I end up being like, okay, I did a lot of healing work on myself. But then I wonder where are we missing in that phase if we are the ones who manifest the relationships and the soulmates we want to be with.
Yeah, so did you see any patterns in the relationships that you end up attracting?
Actually, yes, I did.
So be mindful if you've noticed one similarity in all the relationships. It's these people are also soulmates. I mean, they are basically not the pleasant kind of relationship, the most happening ones, the most cool ones where you want to hang on to more. These are perhaps those people who come to shock, induce a shock in you so that you can, get shaken up and see what is it that's missing inside of you so that you can heal that part of yourself. So if you have noticed a pattern, it's good already. Be mindful of that and start working on that part that is reflected back in most of the relationships that you attract.
So I did work on all of these. Like I've gone through a lot of healing sessions. I worked on them. But now I'm like, okay, so after all this work, I really want to manifest that guy who's gonna end up being supportive. And but then what about it? Like, is it about time? Is it about no one being there? What is missing? Like even after working on the pattern and realizing it, I've
So
been doing a
obviously
lot of healing.
you have not done enough.
Mm-hmm.
You have not done enough. And there is nothing called, okay, I have done a lot. There is nothing called a lot. I am
Okay.
going to be, I'm like, I think I'm double your age by now. So I
Yeah.
am still working on myself. I'm still finding that there are so many opportunities every day that I encounter people. Every experience that I have in my day gives me an opportunity to see my reflection through those people through whom I can work. So there, it's
Mm-hmm.
never going to be enough, Hala. If you think, okay, I have done 5 sessions, 10 sessions of healing work, and it's too much now, and now I have to do that, I have to attract, and it's time. If I don't do it, okay, clock is ticking. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
work that way. Sincerely speaking, it doesn't work that way. There has to be a moment of that peace and calm within yourself has to arrive first for you to attract that outside of you. So as it feels inside of you, you're still not in harmony and in peace with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
The moment you have that feeling coming over you, you wouldn't be impatient and restless. Naturally things will start flowing to you. Trust me, this is how it
Okay.
happens.
Yeah, I got your point. Yes.
Any other
Thank
questions?
That's it. Thank you.
You're most welcome. So there is a question, does this mean there is nothing in the outside world that is not okay, and all is within us that needs to be healed? And if I keep accepting things that's to be healed in me, then how do I be confident of myself? Does everything necessarily need to be corrected in me? So mm I don't know. Like I give this example. I know maybe it's a repetition. Maybe you already know what I give this example is very funny. Like like this, the inner world and the outer world is so interconnected that sometimes we really can't make out the difference. So if you are looking at yourself on the mirror, like I'm seeing myself in the screen right now, and I see a hair somewhere here not being properly kept. So should I be touching the screen and then fixing the hair, or should I be touching my hair itself to fix it? What should I be doing? If touching the screen fixes my hair, then I would have done it. My hand naturally goes to my head to fix my hair. So that's what relationship gives us the opportunity to fix our hair, to fix ourselves, and not to look into the mirror and fix the mirror. How much ever I rub the mirror, I clean the mirror, my hair is still going to be messy like this, that as it is, unless I fix my own hair. It's an example that I always give, and it might be boring by now, but until I think of something else, something new, I'm going to keep on with this. I hope that answers your question. Anyway, so I'm going to ask you guys, how do I be confident about myself? You are confident. So nothing changes in your confidence level. So if I have to fix my hair, does that mean that, oh, I am like messed up? No. If I have I have dogs at home. So if I have a dog hair on my clothes, does it mean that I am not pure? So how does it matter if I have to fix something? We are supposed to be multiple universes, multiverses. So there are so many aspects of us, so many splits of us, so many parts of us, so many sub-personalities of us, that it's never going to be, one lifetime is never going to be enough to find ourselves back together, to integrate all of ourselves back together. So we are just like work in progress, each one of us, and every relationship, every experience gives us the opportunity to again work on ourselves so that we can keep on progressing in this journey of becoming whole. And the relationships are the perfect birthing place for that. No more questions? So I'll ask you guys to now take a pen and a paper and answer certain questions of mine, so that it can help you to get a reflection of what is it that you are dealing with in your life. So the first question is, what undesirable habit or behavior pattern do you notice that is more prominent in your relationship? What undesirable habit or behavioral pattern do you notice that is more prominent in your relationships? Do you recognize the pattern? If yes, then write the pattern down, that I see this in my relationships. I behave in this way, my partner that does that. Ultimately, it makes me feel this way. So the next question is it familiar to you? Is there a way in which you think, or you can think, or you can act differently? So A does this, B does that, then A reciprocates in this way, B defends in that way. If this is how the drama keeps on happening all the time, then now think if there is a way, if you had a choice to act or think differently, what would you have done? And then the next question, how do you see it being active in your life? Does it affect your daily life and the lives of those of the other? How does it affect? And now, when you have a little more understanding of that issue, do you realize where it is coming from? Is it coming from your own past, from your childhood, or wherever it is coming from? Have you tracked it down? So I'll give you an example. Maybe it's going to be easier to answer. So in most relationships, I do a lot of relationship counseling. So what I see is that one of the partner is making the other partner feel something through their behavior. Like a partner is always putting, say the guy is always putting the girl down some way or the other. And either by ridiculing or passing remarks, or maybe as jokes also, like me cracking jokes, but in the end the girl ends up feeling um, put down in some way. So the girl ends up feeling that I am less always compared to him. And the girl reacts in a certain way, and the girl, her defense mechanism is to reject the partner. So she would leave the partner and go away. Many times it happens that the girl has left, and then the partner, the man, the guy in the relationship, he had this feeling that she's going to leave me anytime. She's going to always leave me. She's never going to stay with me, and this relationship will never go anywhere. And this is how the dynamics goes on for years until it becomes too much for both of them, that either they come for counseling or they decide to break up. But if from the beginning they have understood the patterns, that the girl, she's constantly being made to feel that she's less. That means she has her own personal mirror reflection that's happening is, I am not enough, or I am always feeling I'm not good enough. And the guy, he's always having a fear of rejection, which is the mirror reflection through the partner. And the fear of rejection and that I'm not good enough now coming together as a man and a woman interacting and just defending each other from their own fears, hurting each other back. You are hurting me, I'm going to hurt you back. You're hurting me, I'm going to hurt you back. And finally, the relationship becoming toxic, unbearable, when both of them feel it's enough and we can't handle it anymore. And they go, both of them now move on to another relationship. What's going to happen to them? Do you think they're going to attract a very harmonious relationship, the next one? No, right? Because this girl hasn't resolved her issue, which was mirrored by the previous partner, and the guy also didn't do that, which was mirrored by the girl in the previous partnership or the relationship. They just repress or distract and go about with life, and they see a similar pattern happening with no matter who comes into their life. The girl will feel I'm being let down, I'm made to feel lesser always, and the guy would see that the women that he attracts leaves him. And this is what you all have to understand, the patterns that are being you notice in your relationship is a reflection of your deep-seated issues. And unless you see that, unless you work on yourself, how much ever this girl had tried so many times to change the behavior of the guy, but it didn't change. The guy so many times tried to change the girl from leaving, or first initially he would be very sad and afraid and trying to call her back. Next, after some time, he gave up, and he would be the one who would say, okay, now that it's not working, just leave. You don't have to stay. So that would be his defense mechanism against the fear of rejection. So before someone rejects me, I'm going to reject them. So both are just basically trying to defend themselves from their fears, protecting themselves from the inevitable, which they have inside of them. But eventually, whatever you're afraid of happens, and that happens to them too. So this example might help you to understand what you are going through and answer these questions. So where is it coming from? If you can get the answer, write that down. Next is, where did you learn it? How did you feel when you think of it? And what is the earliest memory you have of having it? If the girl, considering that girl felt I'm not enough for my man or I'm not good enough, is there anything in particular that led you to believe this, that you believed? And if this guy was afraid of rejection, what was that specific thing that led him to believe this, that no one will stay with me, everyone will reject me? And who was involved in that experience? Was it someone in authority, like a parent? Was it a teacher? Was it a friend? Who was it? And the next thing is, when you think about that core issue or the core fear, see what changes in your body. How does it feel in the inside? Just consider that. What does it feel like? Maybe you could describe it with a word. Say, my fear of rejection feels like a heavy stone on my chest. What you're experiencing inside or on your body, and how do you feel about it? And that is where in your body the physical issues will start. So make a note, make a mindful note of this. And also try to understand this fear or whatever the core issue is for you. How is it, and what is it preventing you from doing and having in your life? If you had allowed yourself, if you had the choice to not to live a life without the core issue or the fear, what would it be like? Can you imagine? Can you just project yourself in another reality where you don't have that issue? Maybe a parallel dimension where someone exactly like you without that core issue, what would that life be like? Can you imagine that? If you allowed yourself to be the person that you wanted to be, how would it be like? Just take a moment to reflect. And once you understand all of that, now decide, is it time for you to let go of your beliefs, fears, issues that you have been carrying as baggages with you for so many years? Perhaps they helped you to survive for so many years of your life. But isn't it time now to live? You already know how to survive. You don't have to hold on to those wounds and nurse them and lick them every single day and to protect you from feeling it again, from going through it again. So ask yourself, is it time now to let go of my defense mechanisms, coping mechanisms, from the initial trauma that led me to believe what I believe about myself, that I'm not good enough or everyone will reject me or whatever is it for you? How does it feel to understand or to let go of it? How does it feel if it is the time now for you to live? Is there any genuine benefit from it? No, neither you, nor your partner, nor the relationship. No benefit, but still we hold on to our issues. We keep on licking and nursing them, just like a wounded animal would. So what would your life be like if you no longer carried those beliefs? Ask yourself, what would my words, my actions be like if I let the beliefs go? Once you have the answers, all the answers, if there is any questions or anything that you would like to share with me, please go ahead and let me know. You can talk if you want, or you can write on chat. At least I'll have an impression that you these questions helped you in certain way to clarify certain things.
Sarmista, actually, when you ask those questions, and thank for your sessions that I had previously, uh, the answers were so clear for me. So the only issue is like that I realized that it's still there is that childhood rejection, which make me like each time I'm having a happy moment or enjoyable moment with my boyfriend, new boyfriend actually, it's uh, it's like I'm not happy in the moment and I'm not enjoying the moment. It's just I screw up the moment by the end by bringing up anything that just passed the day before or something that or he behaved in such a way and I was sensitive about it. And this is it was in my mirror each time it's telling me like why you need to screw up everything in the end. Why you need to do that?
Yeah.
And from his side, each time he's telling me, you don't have the right to leave me. So I know that his fear is that I can leave him at any moment, and he's feeling that. And from my side, is like any moment that we pass, like a short, happy moment, for me, it's like inside me, I'm not accepting that happiness. I'm just like looking for a stupid thing to have a fight
Yeah,
or
yeah,
to not be happy.
right.
So I don't know practically how can I do because I'm aware about this
Yeah.
and I'm trying to heal myself about it, but
So
it's still showing up.
you're coming from a space inside of you where still you believe you don't deserve to be happy.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So Bushra, whatever it takes. All sessions and everything can help you to become aware, to resolve the issues. But if you are still on autopilot, right? When we are functioning without you don't have the steering in your hand. You have put it on autopilot, and it just set on like like automatic working, which you had learned in your childhood, because maybe in the childhood you believed that I don't deserve to be happy, or the circumstances made you believe that you don't deserve to be happy. But that is over now. You are the adult now. It is time that you take charge of your life, because you deserve every bit of it. Keep reminding yourself every single day, every single moment, talk yourself out from what you're feeling inside. If you are aware, if you acknowledge the feelings inside, it's easy to talk yourself out of it.
Yeah.
People who are unaware, for them it's more difficult because they don't know what they're feeling and what's going on outside. But if you are aware and you know that this is what I'm feeling and this is what I'm doing, I'm screwing it up because internally I believe that I don't deserve it. So you have to talk yourself out.
Thank you, sir, Mister.
You're welcome. Any other questions? No one? Yeah. Yeah, please carry on. You want to talk or you want to write? Can you unmute yourself if you want to talk? Yeah, you
Yes.
good?
Hi.
Yeah.
Yes. Now I'm muted. Yes. So the thing is, with regard to certain triggers that I used to have, and I want to know, like, even with those questions, I did dig deeper into certain aspects. So what it like, for example, let's say I send a message to a guy, he'd reply, but he'd end up not replying by like the last message. I used to be triggered, and that came from a place of not good enoughness. It was like, oh, why did he do that? He should have replied. Something very trivial and not that much. But like at the moment, since I dig deeper into the not good enoughness, I resolve that, and I don't feel triggered if he doesn't reply. If he does, it's all good. I just sent what I had, and I'm fine. But then there are always those thought patterns that try creeping in back. Like even though I've resolved them, I've worked on that childhood aspect. I can't feel attached to them, but it's like they try creeping in back. So is there a practical thing we can do when such thoughts come up, or so that they don't take over as we did the healing, and then there's those things coming back to us?
The healing has resolved that one experience, okay? But there has been multiple experiences in your life, right? Feeling the same thing?
Actually, I'd say there are like two experiences of two guys.
No, but not
Yeah,
feeling good. I'm talking about not feeling good enough. Wherever it had started,
yeah.
usually during a session, we do the healing of the first time ever that you felt it, and we try to give a different understanding and we resolve it. But remember, from the time that you started to feel that until now, there had been multiple times that you felt that.
Yes.
Okay, it's not just one time. So multiple time you have to put effort on yourself to take yourself out.
So now, even though I'm not being triggered or charged, I feel like there are those thoughts at the back of my head which are like, okay,
Yeah,
but
so
he
the
didn't reply.
as I told you, there are multiplicities in us, right? So even though
Yes.
you feel you have resolved, you have just resolved just one of those out of million of you. There are a million times you felt you're
Okay.
not good enough, out of which you have just resolved one or two parts of you. So the other parts which have not been looked into, forgotten, repressed, they keep coming back, right? So it is now the adult with the awareness, with the knowledge. It is your time to acknowledge them. Yes, I'm feeling I'm not good enough. By this, it's making me, what he is doing is making me again feel I'm not good enough. So what do I do? What do I have to tell myself? Reminder, reminder,
Mm-hmm.
reminder, 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 until
Yes.
this reminder becomes your default.
Okay. So there are no ways to just like extract them forever, like just have not,
So,
like I thought.
yeah, so
Mm,
just imagine, as I told you, you have experienced the same thing millions of times in your life,
yes.
not only one time,
Yeah, yeah,
millions of times, and maybe
yeah.
sometimes in a day also several times you have felt it.
But
So
I
it's,
was just repressing it.
yeah, we repress, all of us. That's our coping mechanism, to repress, to distract. That's how to defend ourselves by retaliating. These are all our coping mechanisms.
Yes.
But that
And
doesn't mean we didn't feel it.
yeah, I got you. Another thing is, so this is the problem is most of the time I want to get in that space of relationships. It's always, and even though I'm working on the patterns of, okay, most of those guys come in, they reach to a point where they're like in that unavailability, and then they're gone. There isn't even a space of saying a boyfriend, girlfriend, or a commitment. It's always just that space and or a situationship, and that's it. So I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I want to get into something to like, I want to get into that experience, but it's never getting to an experience. It's always a situationship that doesn't move to a relationship. So
Yeah.
where does that work
So
come in?
there is a simple thing that I tell always: if you can understand it, then it becomes simpler. Life becomes simpler. Whatever you desire comes from your conscious mind. Whatever you don't get is because your unconscious mind believes you don't deserve it. So
Yeah.
that's why desire and deserve is not the same. So wherever in the unconscious mind, whatever made you believe that you don't deserve what you desire, that needs to be resolved.
Okay, so it's like there's a feeling or like I don't deserve being in a relationship. It's like that
Yeah,
type
so
of.
whatever, what it could be a fear, like there could be, sometimes I have seen kids who have a broken family, like parents have separated, maybe many, like had a very traumatizing childhood.
Mhm.
They, as a kid growing up, they told themselves, I will never marry because if I marry, I'm going to have this. Because as a child, we think marriage means this. So I, as a kid growing up, if I told myself I'll never marry because I don't want to suffer like my mother, or I don't want to go through the pain of my father. And now as an adult, you forgot all of that, that you pledged, all the oath that you have taken as a child to prevent the suffering that your parents went through. Today you
Mhm.
want something. So your conscious mind says, I desire this. But your unconscious mind, which was formed back in the childhood, says you don't deserve it, because then you will be going through the pain. And the
Oh,
unconscious mind will prevent the pain to happen again. To protect you from the pain, it will not allow this to happen, what you want as an adult today.
I got yeah, I got you. Because it always just stops at a situationship and nothing further. So maybe
Yeah,
there's a
so
fear or
there is a
yeah.
fear that makes you feel that if I have this, then something even worse can happen.
Oh yeah, I got you. Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Thank you. Yeah.
yeah, most welcome. So I'm going to just talk about the other things, a few other things which I want to say in a relationship, which is very important. In a relationship, it's very important to let the other person express their differences. It is in general, we have this fear of people who are different than us. If you notice throughout history, we always tried to rule people, we tried to colonize, we tried to convert, mm, all because we feel safe in familiarity. And this comes back from the primitive times when we used to live in the caves, like as a caveman. We used to live in small tribes together, and people from another tribe, if they would come to visit us, they would be speaking different languages. We were afraid that they would bring diseases and infect our tribes, so we would naturally have the tendency to eliminate them or to kill them. But today we don't eliminate and kill. We try to influence the other person's beliefs and their thoughts, if they're different than us, to convert them so that they end up speaking the same language as we do, believing in the same things that we do. And how can that be possible? Because we are taking away the identity from that person. So in today's world, it is increasingly common for individuals of diverse religion, ethnic backgrounds to find themselves drawn together. Perhaps the merging of what may feel like opposites is the work of the divine, teaching a greater capacity for acceptance and expansion. So if you look at it this way, you will see that now we are, as a society, as a race, we human beings are more capable to to accept people from different religions, different ethnicity, different backgrounds, different political backgrounds, because we are consciously elevating ourselves. We are no more of the same fear-based survival consciousness as we used to be during the times of the caves. Indeed, in our relationships with another person, even if we came from a similar upbringing, like we have siblings growing up in the same house, we will undoubtedly discover that we have significant differences in our opinions, values, and beliefs. And how can we expect that someone else who has been brought up by another set of parents in another circumstance, in another environment, is going to be just like me? So life is always changing and evolving, and our experiences and relationships will lead to the development and the evolution of our ideas and beliefs over time. Being willing to have open discussion with our partners, to approach their thoughts and processes and beliefs with an open mind, means there is an opportunity for learning and expansion. If both the partners allow for a variety of beliefs that may sometimes seem to clash or differ, there is a space created for both individuals to evolve and accept simultaneously for the relationship to feel like an adventure. And then acknowledgement of the gender roles is also very important, because these days the gender definition is not very specific as it used to be before. Like I'm not talking about our sexual gender, I'm talking about the prototype or the archetype of the gender that we used to be in the past. Like a mother used to be a nurturer, taking care of the kids at home, but today a mother is not only a nurturer, she's also going out like the father, earning money, busy in work. So the gender impact of the gender roles has also caused a lot of conflict in our society. So regardless of the gender of two partners, gender roles in our culture and society has always been powerful and pervasive constructs the shape and the modes of the behavior and the living, including how we behave and interact in a relationship. In the past generations, of course, the gender roles were more well defined, and the traditions surrounding gender didn't allow for many variations. While women were expected to be nurturing and domestic life, being less assertive and less dominant, more dormant. Men would be the dominant and primary sole breadwinners of the family, and were not encouraged to express. The men were not encouraged to express emotions or sensitivity. These trends, however, are changing, as all of you know now, and it's changing with time and the age. Men are often now also stay-at-home dads, while women are earning and moving out. They are more assertive, more outspoken. There is a resurgence in all of this that happened, and it changed a lot. Lot of changes happen in the society, but the mind of the people haven't changed as much. Even though a woman wants to be the bread earner, or she wants to be assertive and outspoken, she still wants to hold on to being the woman that she used to be, or her ancestors used to be, being nurtured, taken care of, pampered. And these all creates a lot of conflict in a relationship. So it's very necessary to define yourself in a relationship. What is it exactly that you want to be in the relationship? Whether you want to archetypical role of a woman you want to play, or it's going to be equal partnership. So it's very important that you have that clear in your mind. So then another thing that I would like to talk about in a relationship, which I have seen is very helpful. There is a quote which says, couples who pray together stay together. By praying, it only means to create a joint mindful practice. So in order to hold a spiritual focus in your relationship, it is very good to commit to a daily or a weekly practice where you can do something together and build up a spiritual connection. It may include anything like reading or discussing spiritual literature together, taking workshops and trainings and practicing techniques together, enjoying your time, ritual, ceremony in nature, observe astronomical events, anything, equinoxes, full moons, new moons, creating vision boards, or joining partner meditations, vibing together, practicing manifestation together, having fun together, like riding bikes, playing video games, bowling, hiking, watching TV, movies, whatever, and cultivating healthy dose of solitude also is very important. So giving each other the space to be themselves, where you're not always encroaching and doing all these things together, like giving him to have his boy time, you having your girl time. It's very important to cultivate healthy dose of solitude. So with this understanding, I'm going to end the webinar today, and thank you all for being with me, whoever stayed till the end. If you don't have any more questions, and just if you have any, just let me know. Otherwise, hope to see you soon. I'm available for all of you to book a 30 minutes free consultation with me if you want. For the first-time clients, Illuminations gives you the opportunity to come over or have an online free consultation with me at your own convenience. So thank you all for being here with me, and I hope I could share my thoughts which could be helpful, which had been helpful to all of you. Thank you so much for being here with me. Thank you.